Bonjour, my beautiful Jazzy lovers. I'm trying to channel my inner cat. I miss her so much.
It's not working.
It's not working.
Foul.
Mon père de croissant.
Is that why the earrings are big too?
Yeah.
Okay, she's channeling Catherine.
Oh, I didn't cross my legs. I'm sorry, Cat. Oh, Cat, we miss you. We can't wait for you to be back.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go back to my own corner of the table. Yeah, that's why. But anyways, welcome again to the show. And since yesterday, Nigerian social media has been the scene of Afrobeat World War II. Now, Wizkid woke up one morning and chose violence. He surprised all his fans after he trolled Don Jazzy and Davido together. It's like he put them in a big round, what would I say?
Drum.
Like Jazzy Burger, and then he ate them up. Now, it all began when a fan asked him to release a new song, right? Now, Wizkid responded to the request by sharing a viral video of Davido crying. Now, if you're Nigerian or you stay in Nigeria or you're on social media, you must have seen that video. And people are asking, Kilagbe Kilaju, why the video? And then he asked his fans to beg him for a song in that same manner.
I don't know if we have that video because
that's the video.
The video came out at a time when Davido was going through something, you know, and we can't be sure exactly what he was begging for. But Wizkid has said, beg me like this, get on your knees and cry and say, John now. And that's not it. Blessings, that's not all.
That's not all.
That's not all.
It still went on. Now, in another exchange, he referred to Don Jazzy as an influencer in response to a fan who reported Maven Sani Ladipo to him. Okay, the fan says, Wizkid, Ladipo still talk nonsense yesterday. I beg, enter that one too. Since they saw that he was on an entering spree. And he says, lol, never chatting to anyone signed to an influencer. Next.
No, the violence he chose.
And a lot of people have said that was
deep.
Let's be honest, Don Jazzy is an influencer.
Right? But he's an influencer, even won an award.
Yeah, but
so if
you doubt us, we have visual of the award that Don Jazzy won, you know. He was awarded Music Influencer of the Year a few years ago. And someone has said that, in fact, he should give them back the award because now they're using it to disrespect him.
So, in other words, Wizkid is saying he's just an influencer.
Okay, so now in response to Wizkid, Davido said he can't jeopardize his millions of USD of endorsements on someone whose career was resurrected a few years ago. Now, this is, of course, Don Jazzy winning the award. And then, so there's just been a back and forth between the two of them, being called delusional and sick and all that stuff. Fans have entered it. Celebrities have entered it. People are picking sides. I know it's Wizkid FC. I don't know what Davido's fans are called. Wizkid is, his fans are Wizkid FC.
Fans seated outside. Oh my God. For me, as far as I'm concerned, sometimes people need to not take Panadol for some other people's headache. I think some of these things, fans need to take a chill pill sometimes. Because sometimes these things are just started for publicity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still saw, I think Wizkid still ate some Jazzy burger.
No, that was not after though. That was like
before.
Trust fans to dig it up. And then even last year, Davido and Wizkid. It was like
they were cool. Yeah. Like we were going to get another like a collaboration.
But that's what I keep saying, that sometimes we need to know what entertainment can be. If there's no controversy, entertainment is not sweet. Look at us on this table. We're discussing this World War II. And it's fun. Every radio I had listened to on en route to work, we have been discussing this thing. They're just giving us content for discussion.
But do you guys also know that Kiss Daniel and Techno had their own?
I heard of that one.
Too. Like the industry was literally on fire.
But as you say, the industry, somebody then tweeted about, industry wars. You know how they replied him? They said, we're not talking to you. When we want to talk about plantain, we'll call you. Do you know what they're talking? I just saw it down like, Jesus. I can't be a celebrity.
I can't be a celebrity. So what are you?
I'm not.
You're a media celebrity.
No. I can still go to the market and people don't recognize me. It's only when I open my mouth and people hear my voice.
Yeah. Wow. But I love the entertainment quality, but we should always know when to draw the line. Yeah. You know, some of these things go out of hand. You know, it's good if you have verbal wars. It's not good, but it's better. But sometimes they should just keep it on verbal wars, before this thing becomes pitting people physically against each other, because fans can get that crazy. And we forget that this is like politicians. You'd be surprised when they sit at a table and
they'll be laughing
everybody's just
together.
there.
Yeah.
People, Manny was asking on the radio today that, who do you think can settle this beef if we could?
Who can settle this beef?
Somebody said KSA, King Sunny Ade.
I
Somebody said Tony Elumelu.
I don't think. I don't
possibly a Tony Elumelu, because I know Wizkid has performed for him. Even KSA, Wizkid respects him. We've seen that. So you obviously have to call someone that all the parties
I know that they
would
respect these people, but I doubt, especially the music industry, they have coconut head.
But
one
really,
thing I've
honestly,
realized,
but do you know, this really begs me to think that in music, there's so many of these older musicians that I cannot say they have a good influence on the youth, on the younger generations, to a point that you can say that, oh, this is like a godfather that we can go to for reconciliation, for, you know, somebody to sit over.
I won't say that they don't have a good influence. Because I remember there was one time I was talking on my show about mentorship and the fact that the youth of these days have thrown it out the window. A lot of people feel so self-reliant.
Yeah.
They don't believe in mentorship. They don't believe in, okay, I respect you, but day your day, right? You cannot tell me what to do. Yes,
See the
I
way
see
you
you, I
always
prostrate.
day.
Yeah, as they say,
Don't you reject mentorship on this
don't come close.
It's true. A lot of people don't respect. That's why I said I don't think that, because normally, let's say KSA should be able to call them. But
I think it should be. But most of the time, I don't think
they
they're
will
just
listen.
perturbed. I don't think they're just concerned.
No, it's not necessarily that they're not concerned. Why are we putting the responsibility of it on
Yes,
them?
somebody seeking
These
them
are all grown
out
men.
Yeah.
Two
to
of
be
them
able
are
to-
fathers, as far as we
Exactly.
know. Don Jazzy, we don't know what's happening. When he's ready, he'll tell us. But they're grown men making these decisions to tweet. And this is not somebody took my...
But this is putting
what's that thing they
Nigeria
say?
on the map.
No, what's
because-
that thing they say? I was hacked. I was hacked. It's not a hacking thing. They're owning it with their chest.
Totally, they're putting us on the map.
We've been on the map before. We've been on the map
constant
before.
where
Nigerians and there's no good, no bad publicity.
Shade
Everything is
room right now. The
Shade
comments
room
are at
has it.
15,000. People
Yeah.
are picking sides. The other thing is now both of them are challenging themselves to drop new music. So Davido has said that he has like 80 hits ready to go. He was talking about Wizkid's career, saying that, you know, this is a career we helped you to resurrect, and then it died again. I dare you, drop the new music.
It go come shock all of you. Say this not for music.
I was in my house
This is
yesterday
for
like
dropping
What?
new music.
Honestly, so, but the thing is, I'm very particular
And you'll be
about...
surprised that they will have a video and our blessing will be twerking on it.
How
Well,
did we end up
if
with...
they give me Jazzy Burger, no problem.
You see.
So
How did we end up there?
Somebody that doesn't
my
cook at
own
home, which
concern
you
is,
dance
yes,
for.
it might be for cruise, but I don't
It's for
appreciate the way a
cruise.
lot of people, especially would I say veterans now, get disrespected just for cruise. There was a video where Wizkid was thanking Don Jazzy like there's no tomorrow.
Yes, when he was mentioning him
You
about his
get, like,
influence.
I think that we should not...
Didn't we talk about prostrating and respect on this table? I think it just means different things to different people.
How?
And different industry.
How? Respect is a very basic
Listen,
form of
well, somebody,
courtesy.
no, Kurt, does Blessing respect me? Tolu, can
so
you
in
say
the
that?
music
So, Mr. Macaroni,
Forget, we'll soon have our own
excuse
war
me,
on
Lolo,
X.
Mr. Macaroni and a number of other celebrities got into this, and Mr. Macaroni specifically did mention the issue of respect. If we can get that up as well, and some of the other feedback from some of the other celebrities, everybody has entered this thing. There are side wars now. There are main wars running. It's just been a case of left, back, and center.
But
everybody's
please, can we
collecting
sell
bass
merch?
bowls.
Business girl, can you make merch? Let's sell merch.
Sorry,
So you
what's
wanna take
Kininja
sides?
merch?
Merch. I mean, no
Like
be merch.
t-shirts.
In the color. No be
Merchandise.
merch.
Lolo's talking about
Mer-
merchandise.
Yeah, merch.
Merch is the short form of merchandise.
Like t-shirt.
You do not know your generation
No,
calls
she's talking about, is it merch?
merch.
merch,
Yes.
like
merch.
merchandise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Merchandise. Let's sell it.
What's
Because
this- what's
all
this
of you
big
are just
problem?
talking about it. Why some business people, I can bet you, I will take a picture when I see it. Wizkid versus Davido. They are wearing it.
But I really want to remind the fans. Someone said something. I just saw a tweet. It says, Samuel on Twitter, it says, as you take sides in the feud between Wiz and David, ask yourself these questions. Number one, do you have fuel? Number two, have you eaten?
Have you
Number
eaten?
three, can you afford to eat 3 square meals? Do they know you personally? Can you afford the things you need? and can it add to your lifespan?
My sister.
So I
drops
really-
mic.
Drops.
I really want to read what Macaroni said because he made some points, especially on this respect thing. He said that Don Jazzy is perhaps the biggest entertainment influencer in Africa. And the beautiful thing is his influence cuts across from music to content, films, brands. However, we would all be hypocrites to say that the context in which he was called influencer isn't disrespectful to everything he has done and is still doing for the Nigerian music industry. An absolute legend. He promoted music artists even outside his record label, gives free advice and visibility to up-and-coming artists, shows love to everyone irrespective of their status. I'm also a beneficiary of his phenomenal influence. Don Baba J, your influence choke. So even if you want to say Wizkid is saying he's an influencer, it depends on... Exactly, it depends on what, in which context you're using the word influencer. Are we talking about social media influencer? That was the shade.
You know, half of the
that
time,
was the shade Wizkid was trying to throw.
But do you know that half of the time, Wizkid is always in the shadows?
He doesn't talk a lot.
That's why a lot of people were surprised.
So are you sure he wasn't hacked? Because
So the thing is, it was...
You know,
for
you
me,
were my crush at the time.
It was a little bit of a twist because at first, the fact that it was coming from Wizkid, it was surprising. Then again, a lot of people were surprised because we thought at the time that Davido was being the bigger person and not responding. We don't know say Baba never come online.
And then that time where it seemed like maybe Wizkid had gone to sleep and everything. Next thing we just see Jesus is the king. After you've chosen violence,
Somebody
you
was
now
like,
remember.
here it comes, here it comes.
No, that's Farouk took a walk. If you know who Farouk is, if you don't know, go and check social media. You'll find out who Farouk is.
It was hard.
Oh
It was, it really was.
But it's fun. If it's making the girls on Jazzy talk about it, trust me. But you know, as I was coming to work, my friend was telling me that we were going to talk about it on the show. I was like, did we talk about such things?
Did we talk about such things?
I'm not
bougie.
doing
But wait, so you know what?
Well,
Let's quickly spiral this because you know in the past few weeks, it seems like not everybody, a lot of the big guys have been denouncing Afrobeat. Davido did an interview, says he's not Afrobeat, he's Afrofusion. Wizkid said his Afrobeat is dead or that his music is not Afrobeat as well. And just a few people have come out to say no, like Joe Boy came out recently and said, no, he's very proud. There are people who are still flying this Afrobeat flag high. And I'm like, this guy is big enough for the three of you. And then now Rema has said it's not the big three anymore, it's the big four.
The big four.
Like,
Please expand the circle. We need the Big Ten.
Was hot.
Some should just up their game and move to the Big Ten.
And I think that they're all connected because I remember when Rema said that, someone was like, are we expecting a new music? And he says, you don't do things for cloud, just chill.
Like
he didn't say
overload
that
us
for
with
clout.
music. Blessing is ready to twerk in your videos for Jazzy Burger. She said it on the show, Tolu. Don't say that. She said it. She said for Jazzy Burger.
We're talking about context. You just call somebody an influencer, and even though he's an influencer, it's disrespectful.
So but didn't you just say you would twerk for Jazzy Burger?
If you put it that way, it's disrespectful.
So what way was she supposed to put it?
How should I put it?
I don't
okay,
know.
respectfully, Blessing would respectfully dance in your video, respectfully.
Say respectfully 20 times doesn't solve it.
It doesn't change it. We're going to go for a break on this. We're very sure in the next few hours, something else is going to break on this
And
as
we
well.
are waiting for it.
We will be waiting. Keyboard Warriors, Wizkid FC, Davido stands. Davido stands have been going through it. They've struggled to stand Davido in the past few months. If you know, you know. If you don't know, go to social media. Burna, where's Burna? Guys, Burna has not entered this group chat yet. So do we want him to enter?
I think I can anticipate what he will say. Someone will just say, Burna, where are you? You'll be like, I'm too big for this backpack.
Yeah,
it's going to go something like that.
Even when Burna was supposed to put
the ape or the monkey, sorry, what does he call it? The ape?
The giant of Africa.
Something about ape though.
I didn't hear the ape part. We're going for a break now. When we come back, we have a lot more coming your way right here on Just Theory. Please stay with us. Welcome back. We're streaming live on our social media platforms at News Central TV. Join the conversation by using the hashtag Just Theory. Lola, are we safe?
Honestly, I looked at Tolu's hair. Do you know one cartoon? One of these new tunes that has two ears so close together.
As I was saying, from fuel scarcity to cash scarcity, what is next in line for scarcity? Now, due to current cash, it's not fault. Due to current cash scarcity, is my producer actually, that's a tongue twister. Many Nigerian banks have reportedly set a daily ATM withdrawal limit of 20,000 naira. Some banks have even lower limits ranging from 5,000 to 10,000 naira per day. Banks claim they are short of funds, leading to cash rationing and limiting ATM withdrawals. The cash crisis has led to increased use of POS, that's point of sale operators, who charge higher transaction fees. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria has set a weekly cash withdrawal limit of 500,000 naira for individuals and 5 million naira for corporate entities. However, banks have imposed stricter limits, violating CBN's regulations. Guys, this has actually been going on for a while.
Yes.
My parents were in town last year. They left in October. And even then, when I wanted to give them cash to go back home, because let's be honest, there are certain communities and towns in Nigeria, ATM will pay.
Yeah.
You let the person have cash. So I had to go around for 3 or 4 days to collect all the cash I had to get. You know, I had to give daddy his own, give mommy his own. I cannot give them together. So I had to go around for 3 or 4 days early in the morning before coming to work to try to get cash at a bank. The same bank in Surulere only allowed me 15,000. The same bank in Ogba, same bank, gave me 50,000. Then they said, but madam, next time you come, we can't give you 50,000. I'm like, what's going on? Since October.
I know this conspiracy theory because I know that these POS people are really thriving. There seems to be some kind of conspiracy somewhere.
It's a collusion.
It's a collusion somewhere because even this ATM, these POS people will say they pay some kind of money to the banks. So somehow they would have money and we would not have money. There are many ATMs you will go to and you'll not be able to withdraw any money.
Very true.
So many. And I'm wondering that, why is it that in Nigeria we like to make hardships for the people? The country is hard enough. People are queuing. Now there's no money. Is it that until people just
faint on the streets, which we saw already? We saw it already.
Of course.
We've seen that one with the food scarcity.
Like we're multitasking hardship. People are
Multitasking
queuing.
hardship.
Honestly,
That's
people
a
are
good one.
queuing for fuel. The value of the currency is dropping, and now we don't even have the currency. It's like back to, it's not even back to back. It's just happening at the same time.
See, we are even people that can sit at a table and be able to manage stuff. I know many homes that are in crisis. As their children haven't gone back to school. I can point to so many families that my son just said it in passing. Say, oh, mommy, I'm going to JSS 3, but we seem to be reducing in class. Wow. He's just said it, but I don't think he knows the impact of what he's saying.
Yeah.
I know parents are withdrawing their children from some schools, taking them to lower grade schools because of affordability. They can hardly feed their families. So how do they, and do you know how many people I know that are on band A that are crying?
You just
As in
start
this
buying fuel for yourself and decide how you want to. You'll control your own fuel, your own electricity because you'll be controlling your generator.
Yes.
You just tell NEPA or whoever it is, come and cut the lights. Come and take it.
Wait,
Because
but that's
how
a good
do you
idea.
want me to
Honestly.
pay the bills that you're bringing?
Somebody was telling me that they're using 20K now for 4 days.
I said that's what happened to me. I paid 20,000 on Friday for light. I got meter, 20,000 naira. Yesterday I had to buy 5,000 naira.
How long is that 5,000 naira?
And you are hardly home.
It's finished.
And you are hardly home. And even if anything is on, it's probably your fridge. So I don't know what is happening generally.
This fuel idea is a good
Wait.
So with this cash scarcity, we've heard from the CBN, and the CBN says there's actually more cash in circulation. And people are wondering, so if there's cash in circulation, why are we struggling to get that money? And then aside from that, we also need to think of the fact, if these people are limiting against the CBN's rules and regulations, how do we report them to the CBN?
Yes, report them.
What are the regulatory authorities to be able to say this can't happen the way it's happening?
But it's not just that. Do you know that banks, individual banks are even having digital problems? Hardly can you send money from bank to bank. One, sometimes it will not go. Sometimes it will delay. Sometimes it will reverse. So there's so many things going on. And we're just wondering what is their regulatory bank, as in the top banks, or is it the Emefiele problem that they are facing that is still affecting all the banks and all the transactions and everything? And you know that we're talking local. How about people that are doing international businesses with all these challenges that we're facing? So how do you want this thing has to fall back to something? It falls back on the end users, consumers. They're the ones that will bear the brunt of every single thing. Because if you bring in anything and it's costly, who will pay?
And the thing is even baffling because it feels like Lagos traffic where you get to the end of the road and you don't see anything wrong.
There's no reason that you were in
because
traffic.
now they're saying there's actually money in circulation, but there's no money.
There's no money.
There's fuel, but logistical problem.
Oh, really?
The Naira is doing very well. It's one of the highest performing currencies, but
kidding?
we're
The
not
past
seeing
month or
it.
so.
How
you
like,
kidding?
something is wrong somewhere.
I just think that, honestly, our president needs to really, really rise to the occasion. Is it until we have no country to govern? Because if everybody falls down and the country enters into a chaotic, I keep saying that the walls that we're building, hey, they will climb those walls and break it down. Because if the hardship is really, it's too, today, driving to work, I'm physically tired. Do you know that from lanes, if there's a fuel station on an express,
forget it.
in Ajah today, they've queued up to 3 lanes. And we had to just
How is that
one
supposed
lane
to even work? So
happen.
one, let me say something about that. As much as I know there's fuel scarcity, that's Nigerians. Why are you queuing 3 lanes onto the
road?
express?
But
that is Nigerians' behavior.
Is this not a lawless country?
It's a lawless country.
The last time Mr. Benjamin Hundeyin was here, the
PRO, Lagos
PRO
State.
of Lagos State, he was saying that they are short-staffed. How many of these police and Nigerians, if you don't put enforcement agencies...
We don't know how to act right.
And Tolu, have you noticed that there seems to be a deluge of them on the road now? VIO is outside, LASMA is outside. It's as if everybody has a target they need to meet.
They do.
To just make the people's life more hard.
So
look at this one.
So let's count what we're talking about. Cash scarcity or shortage.
Fuel.
Fuel scarcity or shortage.
Electricity.
You're saying people are band A or band B. They're not getting the amount of lights that they are supposed to get, but they are paying the value of that light. Food. So one car is in the shop, the other car is on empty. I took Uber this morning, so me and my Uber driver were there, and my ride-hailing guy.
Did it cost much?
Please don't.
Because
see, Lolo,
my car be doing that. No, Tolu, I'm using my star. I will be praying, Holy Ghost, take me to war.
I'm honestly even
it's
thinking
the
how I wanna get here.
frustration.
Because I just can't afford to just be taking Uber.
The guy was showing me his DMs, the number of people in the DMs begging. Then he talked about the fact that he went home. He's from Kogi. He went home and he went to eat in a local buka or whatever. And he was talking about the fact that even sitting down, people oftentimes can tell when you don't stay around.
Yeah.
But he was seeing grown men coming to beg for food. Where, you know that ticking time bomb we always say Nigeria is sitting on. I don't know if our leaders hear the tick, tick, tick. I don't know if they feel the impetus and the frustration. Maybe it's because we are almost in a constantly frustrated state as Nigerians. So maybe they're used to it. We talk a lot, we do a lot of gra-gra, because we're constantly frustrated, they don't ever take. It's the same thing that happened with NSARS. All it will take is one.
You know, I said it on the show one day. I said it on the show one day. I said, every country experiences a Messiah, a Messiah uprising. That one person will come out from the obscurity. And that revolution everybody fears will come. And revolutions would hardly come without...
It has even already started because it's not just one day. It's not a one-day thing. We saw it at the NSAS. We saw the way people are trooping out now to, make sure that decision makers are held accountable. It may not be very in their faces yet, but it has started. I fear, honestly, the way Nigerians are going, like, it seems like nobody's saying anything.
But do you know people in diaspora, I always hate when they say,
like rubbing salt in the... No, they're not be saying, you people's Nigeria.
That's you people's Nigeria.
And a lot of them, they tend to know a lot more. They're somehow a bit more interested. And they're telling you, and they'll be asking you, this thing that's happening, how is it doing you? I'm like, guys, get out.
Clear road.
Get out.
Half of them that are washing plates in places.
The one person you should fear the most is the person that has nothing to lose.
We're getting to that point.
We're getting to that point.
It's getting there. When people cannot feed their families, they can't send their children to schools. The small petty jobs they do are not bringing anything because the customers they rely on don't have. You're getting there. Well, let's go to the next story.
Anyway, thief men and women have expressed support and appreciation for the paramount ruler of the thief nation. And for the Tor thief, His Imperial Majesty Professor James Ayashe, who issued a directive limiting bride price to 100,000 naira. The directive aims to reduce the financial burden on grooms and their families And to promote gender equality and discourage extravagant spending on traditional marriage ceremonies, both men and women have lauded the move, seeing it as a step towards fostering more affordable and equitable marriage customs within the community. What did they use bride price for, really?
Can you see some of the bride prices on the screen? Can we see what they're asking for?
My bride price list.
Wow, 50
Carton of malt,
50
30 carton of malt,
Itorikini.
10 bags of rice, 4 bags of beans, 9 gallons of granulated oil / red oil, 50 tins of,
That's 52 birds of yam. 2
plots
plots of land. Please, let's stop here. She even says, this is my bride price. If you think you can afford everything on this list, just know my parents are ready to meet you.
I think this one is made up, though.
No,
Let's see another one.
AC.
There were a number of viral bride prices. It's good to see this. So these don't all necessarily come from Steve Land, but it just gives you an idea of the conversations happening around bride price. Now, this was a Nigerian lady who came out to rant about how her brother-in-law's fiance's family gave him an exorbitant bride price, life band set, bottled water, cartons of wine, palm wine, local gin, beef assorted, fruit juice assorted, hot drink, minerals, cola nuts, assorted food. This one even seems a little bit nice. That's okay. Unless this is part one of the part one.
That's not
assorted.
If you, where I am coming from.
Say it. Say it with your full chest.
I'm not even joking. The bride price, one of my aunties was getting married, and I got a share in the tuber of yam. Like the
no,
last
we do
born
get,
of the family.
at least even in my place, even if it's sugar, you get.
Much it is. Well, yes, I think it's laudable. But then again, we're having conversations around how men have reduced women. Some men have reduced some women to nothingness, right? In the sense that a lot of them say, oh, I paid for you, or this and that and that. So for me,
they pay. How much did they pay for their soul?
This is going to be progressive.
Even if you did pay a million.
I think it's progressive.
Because now it's like, what are you worth?
Even if you paid $1 million for somebody, is that worth the person's life?
No, well,
you can't explain somebody because
we saw a video here the other time where the guy was saying he paid this, he paid that.
I know that there are a lot of traditional practices.
Because by the time they go through all of this to give plots of land, to give cow, to give goat, to give material, to give sewing machine, to give box of clothes, they feel a sense of ownership that something was paid
for your mother.
The same sense of entitlement might make them see her as you're just worth 100,000 there.
No,
honestly, I'm just
going. Mentality is a mentality of somebody who should not be getting married.
You shouldn't be getting. As far as I'm concerned, if your bride price is too much, let your parents marry you. It's okay. At least if they don't come and pay your bride price, women by themselves will carry themselves to the man's house, get pregnant, and come back home, and they will accept whatever they can.
And again, besides, I think that's speaking from my own place now. There's some, would I say, there's a meaning to some of the things that they demand.
They ask for.
For example, where I'm from, you must buy a set of boxes, and those boxes will be filled with clothes. Now, one of the reasons they give is no matter what, because of the things that have happened in the past, right? Where the woman gets to the man's house and then he can't even buy her clothes. He can't buy her things, and then
you
she
don't go
looks
to your husband's
yes.
house.
So the parents
anything.
are like, at least if anything, my daughter has things to wear. You know, and even the box. At the worst comes to worst, pack your things in the box
and come back.
Every bride I know does that. You pack your things in it.
A lot of times it's symbolic.
A lot of things are symbolic, but
well.
even the symbolism have reduced over the years. It's just like when we were born, and people will use sugar and oil,
salt
and
honey
and
to
honey,
do naming ceremony,
ado and all that. Now they just put anointing on your head.
And someone was asking,
our children are still thriving.
Someone was asking her sister on X that, must she pick Bible for her wedding? That's already.
No, I saw somebody that picked something else. I saw a bride that actually picked the honey. And the alaga was.
It wasn't the alaga, it was her mother. Her mother was upset. But when we come back to this, so like for us, you're about where I'm from, it's symbolism. You give the money, then they give you, either some people give you all of the money back. We're not selling our child.
Yeah.
You don't, Kinika, she's always free to go. Or some of them give you a small portion of it back, and then they give it to either Yawole, or they give it to all these small children that do things. And because at the end of the day, I think it's a perception of what women mean at the end of the day. Because this bride price, yes, it's traditional to us, but we're not the only ones who do it.
Yeah.
Even the English had chattel. That was where women were considered chattel. They were considered to be passed from their father to their husband's family. India is groom
you
price.
would even have groom's price.
It's groom's dowry.
The bride, even in old English monarchy, the women must come with
They came with land,
with
they
lands
came
and
with
stuff,
cattle,
or
they came-
else it's as if you're coming
to be honest,
impoverished.
I think also
Especially
it's
titled
also-
women.
Yeah. I think also it's a way of asking the man, what are you worth? Can you provide for my daughter? That's why they would collect it and give you back. They just want to see that.
Yes,
you
in
can
my house
provide
too,
for
they'll
her.
collect the bride price and give you back.
Yes, they just want to
Even
be
though it's
sure that
ridiculous.
you can
They'll tell
provide
you,
for
we don't
her.
sell our daughter.
Yeah.
We just wanted to be sure that
Exactly.
you are capable. But I just think that sometimes greed in some families have made their bride price get to some
No, it's
unreasonable
the
levels.
families like the parents that would allow
where
uncles and aunties exactly. they'll
yes,
come
will
and be
get
demanding
into their
things.
thing, and it's like, oh,
People that did not help you raise children.
Raise children,
They'll be
we
the
now
ones
want
giving you
you-
bride price to
Yes.
give. I think it's a conversation. I applaud the chief monarch for this because
Yes.
apparently it was also affecting the ability of some of their girls to get married. When the families are presenting these exorbitant prices, and you know we talked about the pressures men face. You're 30-something, 32 or whatever, and they're telling you to bring 2 plots of land, bring goats and cows before you even do,
You just
before you
feed your
even
daughter.
pay for everything. So I think it's a good thing. I think we need to have a conversation about it. Yes, it's cultural, but let the symbolism be it, not these actual physical demands. There are people who get married and they go home after everything, and they go home and there's no couch. The bed is on the floor. They made their choice. That's fine.
But a
Whatever
lot of
they
people
choose.
even borrow money
But
from their friends.
do you
to be able to
understand?
get
Of course.
the bride price.
I think it's something we
I always
definitely
joke
need to
about
applaud.
it. Like my brother will say he's one that will collect my bride price, and I'll say, what is it called? Bride price. My price. I'm collecting my money.
Auntie, you're not collecting. It's not coming. It's not coming anywhere
coming
near
near
you.
Don't worry.
But then can we think about this?
Maybe she wants to marry herself.
Oloma, can we also think about this in terms of how they say families have looked at girls as investments?
Yeah.
That we've paid for her schooling, we've taught her to be a good wife, we've raised her to be a good mother. This is our investment, especially in some parts of the country. If you end up having education, your bride price even increases.
Yes.
More.
Yeah, true.
Imagine
Is
they want
this
to
the
marry a
family getting
professor.
back?
Honestly, I believe that families think of both guys and girls as investments, just in different ways. A lot of families, when they talk about training their children to school and then John Jelmo, a lot of times is the guys that's why we're talking about the pressures. You see mothers or fathers demanding excessively from especially the male children. In fact, it's worse for the guys because they get married and then some of the wives' family too,
will come with
they
it.
will keep their children have not gone to school. Don't worry.
you
your
come and
sister's
train them,
husband,
you come and
exactly.
train
So
them.
I feel like the investment goes both ways. For the ladies, like
But
the man is coming
you
to
know,
pay.
everything is changing. I keep saying that there's so many conversations we need to have.
Yeah.
Gone are those days that you think your children as your retirement benefit.
Never.
Your children are, we forget that their lives go in their own personal trajectory. No matter how much you love your parent, Tolu lives in Lagos, that her mom lives in Ogbomoso.
You good?
And they have their own lives. And do you know that this is what used to cause pressure for some tribes, where their family will be like, this person is doing well, why are you not? This person's family girl has gone ahead abroad and is doing that. That's why some of their children go for prostitution abroad, because they just need to keep up with
And
this
some of them collect the
cultural
money without
expectation
asking.
that their parents, in quotes, put on them. They are individuals. How about if they are not supposed to be rich in life? Are you going to kill them
Or comfortable.
or comfortable?
This thing Lola says also makes me think about the fact that, do you know how many people have not married the person they were supposed to marry?
Love.
The person they love, because that person, particularly men in this situation,
They can't
are
afford-
unable
Yeah.
to meet the bride price demands of their families.
Yes.
It's really something families need to think about.
And it's funny how families don't even consider that anything can happen in the marriage.
Oh,
yeah.
Fine,
Yes.
he can pay the bride price, but what if he loses his job? So you remove her from the marriage and then you...
And what you said was even very important. How about you do this wedding and you guys barely... I know a couple, they borrowed so much to do the wedding that it's just the debts that they have that cracked their marriage. You know, they just couldn't pay up. Wow. Imagine you got married this month and you are paying bills, as in paying loan for the next 1 year. In 1 year, they were no longer friends.
I've
The
always
marriage
said
had
it,
packed
I
up.
would
Why
rather
won't it?
have...
It's going to be so
I would
difficult.
rather have a low-key wedding and enjoy my marriage to the fullest. I hear crazy budgets.
I even want you to have a nice low-key budget, then give me a honeymoon of my dreams.
Honestly, I know that a lot of people, the excuse they use is, oh, it's a one-time thing.
Yeah.
The
budget of
It's a
wedding.
one-time thing.
Honestly,
you'll remember
Tolu,
it for the rest of your life.
remember it?
No,
Yeah,
there's some
drinking
weddings
Gary.
I go and I look at the decor alone. I'm like, if I was to marry now and I
Would you do this? And no,
Would I
I
do
won't
it?
do those extremes that we're seeing
My
now.
dear, impossible.
There's a movie I saw that the relationship ended because the guy was refused. Okay, so the girl was panicking.
Yeah.
Apparently, her parents had savings for her future marriage, and then she found out that the parents had spent the money, and then she was panicking that how would she get her dream wedding? And the guy was like, "Look, I've got savings, but the savings is for the marriage." And she's like, "No, you have to bring it out. We must use it for the wedding."
Allah magic.
And he's like, "No, it's supposed." She's like, "No, if you really love me, you would give me my dream wedding, all of his savings."
Let them just be going. Go
All right.
That's why it's
how you
dream
know-
wedding.
That's how you
Let
know
it
who's
happen
meant
in our
for you
dreams.
and who's not meant for
Exactly.
you.
You know, we
Let
talked
it-
about it
it's
being an
dream wedding,
audition.
she called it.
It's
So let it
dream
happen
about
in her dreams.
All right, we'll go on a very, very quick break. And when we come back, Jasiri continues, and it will be time for a hot topic. Welcome back. Now, if you're on the go and you don't want to miss our live episodes, at News Central TV is what you should look for on all our social media platforms. Follow us and watch us live, and also use the hashtag JustSiri so that we see all your feedback and we know that you're watching. I'm going to hand over to Tolu to take us through our first hot topic.
This is a wow and a woo altogether. All right, so there's this lady who's been married for 5 years, and she's had a very peaceful marriage until she experienced a difficult pregnancy. And her postpartum period was also difficult as well. After nearly dying in childbirth, she told her husband she's not going to go through that a second time. And she refused the husband's suggestion to have another child, opting for adoption. She put adoption on the table. However, her husband got another woman pregnant. So the husband and the mother-in-law and the pregnant woman come to the house one day. The mother-in-law says, "Well, you said you're not having children anymore. I've gone to go and find someone to have a child for my son," claiming that the son needed a son. The lady was devastated and found it difficult to forgive her husband, leading to a separation within the house. So she would care for her daughter in a separate parts of the house. He lived with the other, he stayed with the other lady while he of course kept on his fatherly responsibilities. Wait, we've messed up the story a little bit, but let me get back to it for you. Because what happened was the lady died in childbirth. So during the time during the time she was pregnant, the first wife had moved out with her daughter. He's still doing his fatherly responsibilities. Then it gets to childbirth time for the second lady, and she dies. The newborn is alive. It's a son, but everybody's asking her to come back and help her husband raise the boy. Her husband has been struggling as a single father, and the lady is feeling depressed, feeling unloved, and trapped. She says she wants to finalize her divorce, sell her share of the assets because her mother told her not to move out of the house because they built the house together, and leave the country with her daughter. But her in-laws and even some of her family have been coming to her to try to beg her and convince her to help her husband raise the boy. That, okay, you said you didn't want to carry another child, Abi. God has brought this child into your life. He's your husband's child. Please, you need to reconsider the divorce, stay with your husband, and raise this child. But she has very seriously said she can't. Every time she looks at that boy, she can't see herself raising the child that came from this situation.
My issue is with the lawyer. Why are you wasting
Which
time?
lawyer?
Why are you wasting time?
There are
Finalize this
processes and
divorce.
procedures you have to go through before you get a
Then
divorce.
hurry up with the process.
What's your problem? You don't know what you have to do. Is it 1 or 2 years of separation,
Yeah,
living
2 years
apart?
of separation.
It's not
It makes
easy.
it easy. It's not easy.
It's not.
My divorce was in court for a long time, and that's because the other party refused to come to court to even pursue it and make it fast.
And they will still say that party needs to come to court.
Unbelievable things
It's the audacity.
that the men expect women to forgive them for. I find it mind-boggling.
And I
Do
don't
you
even
know
think
the
he's asking for
amount
forgiveness.
No, now he's asking for forgiveness. If the lady had not died, he would not be asking for forgiveness.
That's what I'm saying, that the audacity of the forgiveness he's asking for. So now this peculiar circumstance, everybody will now demonize this woman.
Yes.
That you are wicked. Your husband has a child, That is what he wanted. And he has gotten it. He can marry a third wife to care for the child.
I was going to say.
So the
And
women are
get
expendable
some-
to him. The women are just so he can have the child that he wants.
I know someone who had a baby.
Okay.
And from pushing the baby out, it was exception. Her womb came out with it. So she had to have so many medical surgeries, procedures. She could not even think of having another. I know one who had a peculiar situation. Her surgical line did not heal for 2 years. Some things happen.
And so, you know, as you're talking about this, I had a relatively easy pregnancy and labor. But I will tell you, for a year plus, I was like, guy, no, because the mental state you are in. So this woman had a difficult pregnancy, a difficult labor. We don't talk enough in Nigeria, in Africa most likely, about postpartum depression. But that's going far. We don't talk about birth trauma. What people go through to give birth. We don't talk about it.
Do you know what it means to have a tear? I had a tear my first child. That means every son I've had have turned me the same way. Even sometime to unbelievable places, you will see the jagged lines. And yet men do not even appreciate. They say what he's asking is so annoying. He's not even asking for the milk of human kindness. It's because he feels
exactly
overwhelmed.
He's looking for a nanny.
He's not like, oh, my wife, I found my way. I'm overwhelmed. You had a child for me. Come and care for this boy.
And my major problem is
she should finalize her divorce and move.
Now she's having a dilemma because she's a little bit. There's a bit of guilt.
You know how when you see something,
she's supposed to feel that way.
But
because the
she's
family
still in the
is trying
house.
to
That's why
trip her, make her feel like, oh, you should. You've asked for a child. What does that even mean?
But you know, it also shows something else as well. You know, when oftentimes widows or women lose their husbands, yes, sometimes people will step in, but no, rarely do you hear somebody say, marry and have somebody take care of your children. But if a widower, if a man loses his wife and he has young kids, before you know it, they're urging him to look for someone to marry, to take care of his child. Children. You have this child. This child is your child. It's your responsibility.
Take care of him.
For all intents and purposes, she didn't say if they were Muslim or not, so it's not a situation of multiple wives. She said that the mother-in-law, the husband, and the pregnant woman came to the house and said, she's pregnant for me. One, are we even sure that the child is his? Have you done DNA tests to ascertain? Because let's be honest, there are women who know when men are desperate for children. And
especially boy children.
Go after that. They will go after children. That. So there's a desperate angle to that. The mother-in-law pushing. Let the mother-in-law come and live with you.
Exactly.
Because
she's still living in close proximity.
Her fear for not even having a second child was that what if she dies?
Dies.
What if she had died? Who would take care of the one that she has?
The one she has.
The mother-in-law would take her.
Marry another. I beg, Tolu, there are some stories that when you speak of it, it just wants to make you feel so sad that women go through a lot. The audacity of the asking of this man is what hurts me.
And his family. And then some members of her family who should be on her side.
On her side.
Of her own family?
Some members of her own family.
Yeah, of course, they say, Koda kobìnrin wa de orí, kan tó ti ṣẹlẹ̀ jẹ́ àgbàgbé ẹ̀, ọmọ ti wà láàrin ẹ̀.
And they'll tell her that you were open to adoption before, you were open to surrogacy. God has blessed you with a child. Why are you not willing to take that child?
She didn't adopt that child.
She didn't adopt that child.
No, when you were talking about tear, I didn't know. So my cousin was the one who was with me. I didn't know anything was happening. So I saw my cousin's face drained with blood. Next, I just look like this. I just see the doctor sewing.
Do you know having a baby is one?
We'll talk about childbirth.
Yeah, having a baby is one.
My sister, I went
the sewing of it
is another.
Do you know someone like me? Those anesthesia wears out of my body so quickly.
The day my sister gave me this story, she told me that when she said she didn't feel the tear, she only felt when they were sewing. I'm like, what kind of pain would you have that you wouldn't feel the tear?
Do you know that sometimes they just believe that you have already faced the birth trauma, so let them just sew quickly, then give you morphine and everything, and you would coast through.
And that's why
you know in Nigeria, it depends on the level of hospital you go and have your baby. When I was having my children, I had no money, so I was going to regular hospital that you cannot even tie those things on belly to know. It's by
stop! You're taking me back. I was dying.
No, we need to discuss
this thing. The doctor wanted to check how far dilated I was. It was. This is not what this topic is, but we've gone there.
But this woman, for her to say, I don't want. Look at that person I know that had to care for her line for 2 years. I know somebody, Tolu, we need to talk. Honestly, we need to talk about women who have gone through unusual divorces. I know a man that left his wife because she had keloids on her surgical lines. I will tell you who after the show.
That means I know
the surgical line had keloids. She had removed the keloid twice. It keeps growing back. The man said every time he wants to make out with her, when he sees it, he's irritated. and she's single today.
The things I want to say,
For
I
his
can't
children,
say.
she had twins, oh.
For his own children.
For his own children.
Can we move on?
Ah, no,
Okay,
no,
so
no,
sorry.
no.
That's why you're about
Finalize your divorce.
Yeah.
Leave.
Wow.
Jesus.
And don't look back to the evil family.
That's why Yoruba people will
If
say,
something happens to that child,
that means because it's a danger.
It's a danger,
It's life
yeah.
and death. This is where you can go.
Tolu, imagine she cares for this child and something happens to this boy.
They'll say it's because...
They'll still say she killed him and ate him at a meeting.
How does she get through this? And nobody's thinking about her mental state. Everybody wants her to put aside her own feelings.
And just
People
focus
don't
on the
know. Like,
child.
I have seen crazy stories of people that become insane after they give birth. People that become deaf, blind.
Yes.
Blind,
Have
lose hearing in
strokes.
one ear.
I know a
Have
woman that always
amnesia.
have eczema from her hair to
They
the sole
change
of her
colour.
feet. I had these things grow after every boy I've had. I beg, whoa. I'm warning you, leave before they kill you.
Do we go to... Okay, we can. We can manage this.
This one is soft.
We can manage this hot topic very quickly. And this one is about a man who has been labeled as gay after he blocked 4 of his close friends for failing to check up on him after he underwent surgery on his back. The upset man took to his social media page to express his disappointment with his friend's actions, but he was met with a series of backlash from commentators who felt that his decision to block them was unbecoming of a real man. I had to sing that. So the guy says, the whole circle knew I was getting surgery prior to my surgery, and the day of my surgery, just in case anything happened, everybody was made aware, my 6 bros and my 3 female friends. And apparently it seemed to be only I just blocked and deaded friendships with 4 of my homeboys. I had back surgery literally a whole month ago, and not one of these checked on your boy. I ain't say I just blocked and let it be what it is. Blank are not my real friends. And so people started saying, what's wrong with you? Sounds like something a woman would do, so that's probably why they don't FW with you. He replied and said, if that's how you look at it, that's how you look at it. That is your opinion, and I'm not here to argue with you. I just know that I won't tolerate what I won't tolerate and will not tolerate from my circle. So we can see more reactions.
No.
The good thing about it is, in case he's looking for more friends, he shouldn't check the comment section. Don't get your friends from the comment section, because they're not friends either.
It depends
Obviously
on
for him
how
to have
close.
those
There are not
expectations
much.
of them.
Back surgery, even if it's a phone call.
Even if they're not close, the fact that you tell me that you're
having surgery. I'll put a call through.
The fact that you'd even think of telling me. Obviously, you didn't go to announce it. You didn't come on Jazzy to say it. You told a specific set of people. So
And
the
you
fact
even
that I was
mentioned
part
6.
of those that you told.
About 6 bros and 3 friends. All they could
3
ever.
female friends.
She don't even say, come and look at. Care for
So
me.
again, it's understandable that maybe you told them some days ago and then they forgot the day it was.
But
But
you
on
told them
that
the
day,
day
in case
of.
of anything, you told them again.
But what I'm even concerned about is the fact that he's been tagged as gay, which is about sexual orientation, for wanting to have a better level of friendship, for demanding more from his friends. So are we saying, and I know that there are guys who have really good guy friendships. But somebody who says, you know what, this has happened to me, it's taught me a lesson, these are people I cannot consider my friend, and you're not going on social media saying he's gay, he's not a real man. Again, reinforcing the same things we're talking about the kind of pressures men face, about the fact that men struggle to show emotions.
And when they do, they stigmatize them.
This is what happens when they do show emotion.
I feel like maybe he got his friends on Instagram. Because I want to believe that, you know, this thing we're saying about tagging people the way they should be. There are people that are not your friends. Yes.
Yeah.
So I believe that friendship grows, right? If you see someone who exceptionally cares for you, someone who is always looking out for your interests, that person can be tagged a friend. Obviously, these guys do not have it in their nature. So where did you find them?
No, but you know, the other part of that is what we've said is that sometimes we are the friends to people and they're not the friends to us. So he has probably gone out of his way for them a few times and everything. But what do you guys think about the blocking? Does this not warrant a conversation and be like, guy, I could have died. I let you know I was in surgery. I didn't hear anything from you.
No, because there are people who get so defensive. It's possible that his friends would even tell him this thing that people are saying in the comment section. Why are you acting like a woman?
It's just spiraling. It's just, you know, sometimes, you know, these days, social media for some people is like a therapy room.
Yeah, it's a diary.
It's just like sometimes when I'm upset, I'll just go and pick all those funny things. I'll be careful of your friends. Yeah, You're just expressing your pain. Yeah. This back surgery is not easy. That means he was probably incapacitated for a while, month to even move. That some of his I remember when I had my surgery, And the friend that even came to help me, I'm not even friends with him any longer. He came to stay with me, just to help me off the bed when I need to get up. Because he's a man, he will pull me off my bed to just get up because of how much pain I was in. Imagine if your bros can't do that for you.
So what are you bros for?
What are you bros
Honestly,
Your bros over
and
beer
I won't
and
even
suya
lie. I
over
know that they
football.
say things about
Tani
communication
bro,
and all that. You know, someone gave an illustration on Instagram, someone that I follow. She said something happened some time ago, and then, you know, her friend got pregnant and didn't tell her, and then she felt bad when the friend gave
I heard
her
it
and things
too.
like that. But eventually, she found out, when she brought up the conversation, she found out that a friend actually mentioned it on the phone, and the network was bad. So she didn't hear. So her friend thought she wasn't interested.
Which is why I talked about the fact that she did not have had a conversation.
That's a different ball game. But someone does it. It's like saying someone pulls a gun at you, and then you want to have a conversation. Oh, why did you do it?
Do it.
You shouldn't have done it.
But then also on the other side, does he know what they were going through? So he was having back surgery.
Back surgery, yeah.
What if they may not have been having surgery, but they were going through something.
But the fact that he
Doesn't
told
friendship
them,
mean
But you know that
sometimes you
sometimes you
give
set
people
aside-
grace?
I'm sorry.
no, it depends on the
subscribe to
level.
that. I don't.
For
subscribe
him to
that.
block them, I think that level is high. Does it not require some level of grace
No,
for
I
a
don't
friend?
know.
You know
the
what?
fact that
He
you-
is just what he went through. You know, sometimes we live in our trauma. Sometimes at that time, he probably might rethink some things maybe later.
And
But
exactly.
at that time, he's just looking for, you know, I can't kill you, I can't beat you, but I can't block
And
you.
again, it could be that it has happened over and over again.
Well,
So
they
this
have
is just
failed
a
to show
yes.
up.
They've failed
If
to
they were
show
going
up.
through something, they should say their own too. But
Yeah,
the
some
fact that-
people, like I had a party and some people went for a ministration.
all right, it's time to wrap.
It is time to wrap. It's you that's rapping.
That's all we
Minister.
can catch up on today. You didn't have to do that. Remember to stay tuned, guys. Mondays to Fridays, 10 a.m. is the time. See us, bring us all the trending, thought-provoking, and hot conversations on television. From me and the ladies, my best girl, it's bye for now.